Yeah, the main one we want to focus on is the 2025 schedule release. We haven't really done a deep dive on it yet. So now's as good a time as ever. And really the big headliner, I feel like, is both the Cup and Xfinity Series going to Mexico City and making its return there for the first time in some 15 or 20 odd years since Xfinity ran its couple of races down there.
Yeah, I think this is absolutely something that needs to happen here. I think it's great to see NASCAR truly expanding its portfolio here and going international. We've heard about it a lot the last couple of seasons how, hey, we need to go global. Other sports are doing it. The NFL is doing it. Soccer is
Yep.
doing it. Baseball is doing it. They played the Korean series. So
Yeah.
it's
Play a
great.
game in London, they're everywhere too.
Is it a financial hardship on the teams? Is it going to be a struggle? Everyone needs to have a passport. Is there going to be a lot of complaining, some hurdles? Absolutely. But I think there is a base down there of race fans that we need to be targeting. We need to expose the sport to more people as well. So I'm very happy about it. I am a little bummed to lose Richmond just because that's one of our closer tracks. I think Richmond has some really good racing altogether as well. Are you okay with losing Richmond, though, if it is going to mean more racing for more fans worldwide?
Yeah, I mean, I think going international was definitely inevitable. Thankfully, we do still keep one Richmond date later in the year. We just don't get that second one anymore. Throwing in another road course on the schedule, I'm sure will upset some people. Like you said, the logistics of a passport too. I know Bowman said he'd never even thought of going out of the country. Kyle Busch had his struggles down in Mexico, but those have been all cleared up now. We know Daniel Suarez is stoked to be down there. I think that 99 will be a favorite when we go to bet it here. I would have liked, hopefully they keep Mexico City around, but I'd like them to bring back Circuit Gilles Villeneuve up there in Montreal. Those were
Please.
always some of my favorite Xfinity races back in the day. The international expansion, despite what a very small but very vocal population of the workforce and the fan base in NASCAR, taking NASCAR international can only be good for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we'll continue to see this as it goes along here. I know people have shouted out some mini road courses that are over in Europe as well. So maybe eventually we see that. But just good to see some different stuff on this schedule as a whole here, man. Like the clash at Bowman Gray. I mean, talk about an event. You got this little, what is it, even a quarter-mile racetrack around a football field? I don't know. Can even 10,000 people get in that stadium? It's just such a cool historic venue. So that's great to be back on the schedule here, kicking things off next season.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I didn't think they could pull off the LA Coliseum when it hosted the Clash for 3 years.
Yeah.
I don't know that they can pull off Bowman Gray, but I'm sure it'll be a hell of a show. And I almost wonder, not that the Clash was ever super respectable, but this could very easily just evolve into I don't even know. A shit show is probably too strong a term. I think that these guys are going to go out and have a fun time, give a fun, throwback style race on, like you said, nice little bull ring of a track there at Bowman Gray. It'll be fun to watch. I mean, just like the Coliseum, you could hear it from how I was just saying it. Same as the Coliseum. I don't know what to expect. It's going to be hella cool, hella interesting. It's going to be a fun time.
Yeah. And from a betting perspective, too, it's good in a way because I felt like if we do go back to the Coliseum one more time, odds are going to be super juiced in the favorites' favor.
Mm-hmm.
However, the Clash at the Coliseum was one of the best betting weekends I've had for years now. Like 2 years in a row. I don't know. Call it a fluke, call it beginner's luck. I don't know, but the Clash was always a great betting weekend for us. So hopefully it continues to be, and the books can wrap their arms around it as well.
Yeah, again, I don't know what odds the books are going to set, but I tell you what, it's going to be fun come next February or even late January to see how that goes and see how we can start off making some coin in the 2025 season.
Yeah.
Also, do you have anything else on Bowman Gray, or you want to go through the
No,
playoff
no,
changes?
yeah. What else are some of these most notable schedule changes that can affect fans and bettors here in 2025? You think, Elliot?
Yeah, I think the playoffs are definitely important too. There was a lot of moving and shaking in the regular season we can get to too. But so Daytona's back to the regular season finale and Darlington back to the playoff opener. As was expected, the Olympic break just threw off the time of year for that relating to the races. So Darlington, Gateway/Worldwide Technology Raceway in New Hampshire, all are in the playoffs next season. Moving out is Atlanta. That's moving the second date to July. Homestead is moving to March, which kind of disappointed some people. I know some people were hoping that could be or will be the championship race again at some point soon. And Watkins Glen, where we're heading this weekend, also is going to be one and done in the playoffs. And also some scheduling changes there. Talladega is going to be in the round of 8 next year. And some of these changes may be good, some of them may be bad. I know some drivers have voiced a lot of displeasure, especially about Talladega being that late in the playoffs, having a gigantic wild card that close to the championship.
I mean, think about it, dude. Like, we could legitimately see like an Austin Cindric get to the championship. Like that's what that means. Like, really, from a betting standpoint, again, I'm gonna be throwing out some guys who can win on super speedways, like a Cindric, like a Briscoe, maybe next year in my futures card, because I think you have to consider that someone like that could get to the championship four, which kind of sucks. I think in a way, like from a fan standpoint, Elliot, but it is cool, I guess, in some way. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of how this playoffs is set up. If I'm going to be straight up with you, like the Roval, come on, like let's just move on. And if we want to do it, let's do it. Let's not do it in the playoffs. And like, I get Worldwide Technology Raceway's been good for us so far. People like Gateway. It was fun this year with Cindric kind of being the surprise winner there. But I don't know. I just feel like we have better tracks than that as well. So I don't know. Like, what would you grade this overall playoff schedule and schedule as a whole on a scale from 1 to 10? Would you say?
I still think it gets probably 6, 7, 8, somewhere in that range. Obviously it's not perfect. I think that
Yeah.
probably the 2026 schedule will be closer to kind of what NASCAR wants. Some more changes even being talked about. Maybe we do get Homestead in that championship race. Maybe we throw the Roval out for a few years and get that good racing on the Charlotte Oval for a second time. But overall, it's not so bad. The changes that they've made, again, some are good, some are bad, some are more entertainment focused than racing focused. But that's just the way a lot of the fan base, especially the new fan base, is probably going to look at NASCAR.
Yeah, I think you're 100% spot on. Cool to see Homestead kind of early in the season. I know that people love that being towards the end of the playoffs, but I think a March Homestead race is going to be great. Like, you get some really good tracks right off the bat, especially for betting. You're going to Coda, you're going to Phoenix, Las Vegas, Homestead, Martinsville, like, and then Darlington. I mean, that's a fucking stretch. That's like appointment television. And that's what I think NASCAR is trying to do there. You know what I mean? They're trying to build off the momentum from the 500 and keep it rolling. So yeah, I'm with you there on the Cup Series schedule. And anything else from you of note here on the Cup Series before we quickly just flip through any changes on the Xfinity and Truck Series side as well?
Well, it was super intriguing that, you remember this back in the old days too when we were younger, Seth. Not only would there not really be any new tracks thrown in, but everything would stay basically at the same time of year. Okay, this you're going to get this race this time. Everything just
Mhm.
runs status quo. A lot of races were moved around this year compared to where they were from 2024 into 2025. Michigan's earlier in the year this year by a few weeks.
Yep.
Nashville was moved up a bit. You mentioned Coda. Pocono's moved up by about 3 weeks, and then some other races moving later in the year. Bristol Spring is a little later on. Iowa, I think, is at the beginning of August now. Dover is going to be a summer race, which is going to be interesting. I don't even think they raced in the summer there when they had 2 dates. Sonoma's a
I
little
think they
later,
did a
and so is
June
the
one.
first
I think
Kansas
I
race.
think they did June at Dover at one point, but it was like an early June. It definitely wasn't like a dead summer like it will be out there now.
Yeah, and that'll be intriguing. I mean, when we went down to Dover in April, we stayed at Dewey Beach, and it was pretty dead because it's
Yeah,
in
that was a
the middle
spot.
of April.
That was a good
It,
little spot.
it was a good spot, but I don't think we're going to be so lucky to get some cheap lodging there again. That'll be interesting to see if people make the trek up from those beaches to go
Yeah,
to Dover. And I'm sure that's the case with a lot of these different localities, that these dates are moved in mind of trying to get more of the fan base out there, a
yeah.
different portion of the fan base that maybe it's easier for people to get to Pocono in June than it is July. I don't know, but it's neat to see NASCAR really moving things around. With the broadcast deal, it's going to be a little crazier too. Fox has the first 14 races. Prime has 5, which starts with the Coke 600.
Hmm.
TNT gets their 5, which is the in-season tournament, and then NBC rounds it out with your last 14 there for your practice and qualifying. The first half of the year on Amazon Prime, second half of the year on HBO Max and True TV, except for the Clash, the Daytona 500, and the All-Star Race, which Fox wanted to keep. I know you may not remember all that, but go and bookmark that on YouTube. Pull this back up in January when you're starting to think about NASCAR again and figure out where to watch it. Or, I mean, the graphic has it. Look it up online. But
Yeah,
that's how the broadcasts are going to work next year, which should also be neat. Getting to see Dell Jr. back in the booth. However, Prime and TNT are going to do things.
yeah.
Going to be fun to watch.
Less Fox would be ideal. I think that's just
Yeah.
like the overall NASCAR fan sentiment. Like, even if, like, I mean, I would take 5 or 6 more on Prime and TNT if it
Yeah.
meant getting rid of Fox. But yeah, I'm excited to at least have those additional partners, and I think they'll do some fun things with it. We've touched on it in the past. I think those are innovative companies. The people over at Turner, the people over at Amazon. So yeah, excited for it, and yeah, less Fox, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, and it is less Fox. Maybe just give Fox the 500 and then kind of everything else. Just see you later.
Yeah, come on. You don't need to keep the fucking qualifying of like 4 races. Come on, grow the fuck
Yeah,
up. That's
no,
some
it's not
bush
bad.
league shit.
Well, speaking of broadcast partners and moving on to other series schedules, all the Xfinity races this weekend is the last weekend you can see the Xfinity series on. It'll be USA
Yep.
because it moves to the CW, which is over-the-air television, same as you can get ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, all of those. So that's definitely exciting for Xfinity to get the extra eyes. And their schedule has some neat stuff going on too. Both Xfinity and Trucks are going to go back to Rockingham on Easter weekend. The Cup Series
Wow.
will be off, so all of the focus will be on that. And yeah, Xfinity wise, a lot of their schedule matching what the Cup Series does. You still got Talladega in the playoffs and the Roval there, and some other races getting moved around. I see Portland's later in the year there.
Yep.
Overall, it looks like it's going to be a solid Xfinity Series season.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. Like, shout out to CW. They don't get much praise out there on the world of where basic cable's kind of going away. So shout out CW. They have some good programming over there. So excited to have Xfinity kind of just in one place all season. I think will be lit. And yeah, I don't hate this schedule either. Like, I'm gonna be honest, we haven't really touched on it, but I think Rockingham is something we need to consider getting to. I think that would be an absolute banger of a track. I'm excited that the Xfinity and Truck Series can really be on display for a full weekend, and we don't have people bitching. I'm so tired of people bitching about us racing on Easter, and I get it, but it'll be awesome just to get down there, having the series down there at Rockingham, such a historical track and one that's meaningful to our sport here.
Yeah, they tried to revive it for a couple of years in the Truck Series a few years back. I don't remember those being bad races. I remember Casey Kane, I think, got a win there.
Yeah,
There's
okay.
some decent racing there, but it didn't end up lasting. And I'm glad they're giving it a chance and bringing it back.
Yeah, absolutely. We got Rachel checking in saying, "Good evening, IBT family. Just want to say hi before it's back to football." Yeah, hope the football game's going good. Us NASCAR DGents will catch up on that later. Anything else here major from the Xfinity series to you, to you, Elliot? The only other thing I think is like I'm glad they're also going to Mexico City, and that's not just a Cup thing. And the race fans down there do get a Saturday and Sunday. I think that's pretty sick.
Yeah, and I think that could be exciting because I think you're going to see a couple different ringers make an appearance there. I know there's some with the whole Larson and McLaren thing. They're trying to get Pato O'Ward to maybe race in his home country in Xfinity there. Whether that gets done or not, I'm not sure. That's all rumors at this point. But there definitely will be a few really cool, really interesting entries in that race that we just won't be able to see in the Cup Series just because of different competitive level, different cars, things like that. But it'll definitely be fun to have a nice little support race. And honestly, we've been saying it the last few years that a lot of weekends, it feels like the Xfinity racing is better than the Cup racing.
Yeah.
So it's really cool that they're getting to new places as well. They're getting to be more accessible broadcast-wise than most of the Cup schedule. You only got to buy a TV antenna, and you can get the CW and get all these races. So hopefully that'll only continue to grow the series as well.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. Xfinity has been great for the wallet, great for the eyes all season. So excited to continue that in 2025. And I think that just leaves us with a truck series then.
Yeah, the Truck Series not always so great on the eyes and not always so great on the wallet, but it'll be great on the schedule this year. They are bumping up from 23 to 25 races next year.
Okay.
They're not going to Mexico City, but they are going to Rockingham. They're going to race the Roval for the first time, which I'd kind of forgotten that they hadn't done. And they're going to go back to Lime Rock Park road course up in Connecticut. That'll be the first time in quite some time they're back up that way. And they got the Rockingham on Easter weekend, like I mentioned. And overall, a pretty solid truck schedule also.
Yeah, I love going to Rockingham here as well. And then we have IRP continuing to be on that schedule. But Lime Rock Park, that's hitting a very good niche that really doesn't get a lot of play up here, kind of in that Northeast region. So I think that's kind of the highlight on the schedule for me. And just adding 2 more races is great because there are times, especially like this time of year again, it's like I kind of forget about the Truck Series even happening because we have a couple of like 1 or 2 breaks that are 3 or 4 weeks long.
Yeah, I mean, this is the time of year where I think the trucks have maybe raced twice in the last 9 weeks or something. They get a big break in the schedule to the point where their playoffs started like 2 weeks ago, and then they have more off weeks and things like that. Obviously, you're still going to see breaks in the truck schedule, but it is nice to add the races, and it's nice to see some diversity there as well. The Northeast really only been represented lately by New Hampshire, so it'll be cool to see the New England area get some representation. And all these races supposed to be on FS1, so same as usual there. Get to hear, I'm sure, Jamie Little's wonderful commentary, depending on how that goes.
I was just about to say, like, I know I give Fox a lot of shit. I think their truck broadcast is like is solid. I think it's the best of their programming, and I've said it before. I've gotten buried on the internet for it. I think Jamie Little is hot on the mic. I think she is very good. Maybe she needs like some better colors with her. I don't need Michael Waltrip out there. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I'm not a big Wally guy. Sorry about it, but yeah, I'm excited, man. Let's get Jamie Little back on the mic. I'm excited. Let's go.
You're on an island on that one, though,
I
brother.
am. We
It
just
could
lost
be.
subscribers for that.
Yeah. I mean, maybe if Adam Alexander stays at Fox, he gets those races and Jamie Little goes back to the pits. Or I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he's done a few ARCA races and standalone races and has gotten a lot of praise online.
Oh,
Again, I
yes.
can't remember his name, but I do
yes.
remember how good he sounds on the broadcast. So maybe even he gets a chance in 2025. But